on, guys? Welcome back. Our last video got a good amount of views, I'd say, for us. Thank you to Sam.
Here, man, spreading the word.
On the story.
Come
But today we're reviewing episode 6, The Iron Throne. I think it's a fitting title.
I haven't been too impressed with the
No, they
titles of
haven't.
the episodes.
They haven't been as good as previous seasons.
It should have been
Like
a Dream of
Madison.
Spring.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
It really should have been. But anyway, it's the Game of Thrones finale.
Yep.
Last episode ever. And we're here to talk about it, guys. So I think the best way to start out is just initial thoughts.
Well, initial thoughts? I liked it. I liked where all the characters left off. And listen, due to the circumstances, I think they did the best with what they've done. And this was the best possible ending that this shortened series could have had. But once again, we needed 2 full seasons to develop a lot of this stuff for the big payoff moments. But but I liked it overall.
So
Yeah, I have to agree with RJ. I like the ending. Do this short amount of time or whatever, it was a good ending, but like he said, 2 more seasons of developing all the characters and how they got to the end would have been a lot better, but overall, it's a great finale for what they had.
yeah, I'm gonna agree with you guys. I really liked the finale. I thought it was really good for, what could have been done. Obviously, this season was rushed, the last 2 seasons, and it should have been last 2 seasons should have been 10 episodes each. And it wouldn't have been rushed. However, I loved what happened and, where they got. It was where they got there. How they got there. My bad. But no, I love the ending. I like a lot of the endings for the characters. People say, "Oh, it's underwhelming." What do you want, a fucking battle in the last episode?
Yeah.
No, in the finale is you set up the future of that universe. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. The last, I think, 15, 20 minutes are just what happened after, the Great War. And that's what we saw, what happened after, what took place after.
Thrones has never been about the battles, and I feel like...
No, it's a more smaller, personal, political
It's the
moments.
character.
And you've seen the last 2 seasons, they've been marketing it as a show about the battles, which it's not.
It's been about the long night for that battle for 2 years.
Yeah, but let's get into it. So it starts off, Tyrion and Jon, Davos, they're all looking over the rubble, people burned to death.
Out of ashes.
Yep.
And, obviously they're really screwed up, and then Tyrion proceeds into the castle, the Red Keep, and he goes downstairs in the holdfast to check if Jaime and Cersei survive, and Terrible finds their bodies under the rubble, and really great performance by Peter Dinklage.
That was a very emotional moment. I was very sad. They played the Reigns of Castamere.
Yeah.
And as Sam was saying it during the episode, shout out Peter Dinklage.
Unbelievable.
He had a hell of a episode. I think he had a good season too.
He had a good season, yeah.
I think he deserves an Emmy.
Yeah, I feel like
he went out great.
Nikolai Coster-Waldau should have won last year.
Yeah, he had a better season 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they're both great actors. So is Lena Headey.
Yeah.
But that was an emotional scene.
I must say though, Peter Dinklage, he played that role perfectly.
Yeah.
It's especially in that scene, like RJ was saying, down in the holdfast.
Yeah.
It was very emotional.
Yeah, you could tell it's a guy who just lost his family. He's got no one left.
Yeah, Jaime was his dude.
But yeah, so then after that we get Jon confronts Grey Worm. They're executing
The
Lannister soldiers.
Surrounded. And then that whole thing too, when he's walking up the stairs, I got a very Hitler Nazi vibe.
Well, yeah, that's right after. So after Jon tries to stop Grey Worm from executing him,
But Grey
fails.
Worm,
And then Daenerys gives that Nazi rally speech.
It felt like The Force Awakens,
The Force Awakens.
whatever you want to say, that was a Nazi dictator speech.
They had that really great shot. A lot of good shots here. They had the great shot of Daenerys with the dragon
That
wings
was very
coming
cool.
out.
Yep. That was
That was a pretty dark speech. She really wants to. She's talking about how she wants to go liberate Dorne to Winterfell and all these other places. Terrible.
Yeah, you could tell she was crazed, and I really thought I didn't see that. She wants to liberate the entire world. I didn't know that. And when she said that, Jon was not good, not good at all.
No.
And then following up her speech or whatever, Tyrion comes over to her and says he does not want to be the hand of the queen anymore.
Yep.
That was a good line. I freed my brother.
Yeah.
You slaughtered millions of
Yeah,
innocents.
once again, the Dank Man coming in.
Yep.
Yeah, but so basically Tyrion's imprisoned.
And then John says nothing as Danny walks by.
Yeah,
He just
but-
gives his famous look, you know, one.
Arya is like, I know a killer when I see one.
Yeah.
You know what needs to be done.
I really didn't do much.
And then John visits Tyrion in the cell,
That
very
was-
reminiscent of Ned in the cell with Varys visiting him.
That was one of the best
Yeah.
scenes, I think, of the entire
Oh, yeah.
season.
Oh yeah, no, I was very.
That was
Yeah.
the
That was
old
Dink's-
Thrones right
I
there.
think that might have been his best.
There's a few scenes which reminded me a lot of the earlier seasons.
Yeah.
That was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
No, I think-
I'm a screw here. You know?
I think especially right when John's about to leave, and then Tyrion goes, "What? Are your sisters gonna bend the knee?" And John knows, like, obviously they're not. And he goes, "It's up to you, and it's your choice, and it has to be made now."
Yeah, and,
And right there, John knows
and that,
what he has
that's
to
what
do.
happened when Ned was sitting in there. Varys, before he leaves, he goes, "What about your daughters?"
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Look
Because
at that.
Yeah.
they're both honorable men. They don't care about themselves, but they care about their loved ones.
Yes.
Exactly. So then this goes to Danny, right? Entering the throne room and goes back to that vision that we saw early on of her actually standing over the
Yep.
throne, but she didn't actually touch it in the vision. But
Yeah.
she actually gets to touch it
Yeah,
this time.
Same shot. They mirrored a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, she touches it. Great score by Ramen.
He had a good
Yeah.
season.
And then
he's always on point.
John comes in. You can see him in the background, and he basically confronts her like, "What are you doing?" And you get more of that crazy Daenerys vibe, but she's like, "Yeah, I know what's good."
You
You
can
know?
even see it in her eyes.
Oh yeah, great
Like, I'll give it
performance by
Emilia Clarke.
She turned it on.
Yeah. Like you could tell, like she did it well.
But once again, like this whole scene, I feel like as good as it was, directing wise and everything, it should have packed
impact
more of a
wasn't-
punch. If they had developed John
yeah.
and Danny's
If the setup was
relationship.
there.
That should be like a Romeo Juliet like tragic thing.
Because I never
Yeah.
like throughout the show, I never really believed they were in love.
No,
like
yeah.
I always like John and Ygritte, they were in love. Like I believed it.
Yeah.
And I never really like John and Danny. It happened very fast. Or, like I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I understand what they were going for, and it was still good. But if it had been developed more.
But yeah,
obviously.
basically he they make out and John slips that knife right in there.
Right when the music
Matt,
hits.
yeah, Matt didn't actually get it. Me and
Oh,
RJ
yeah,
got
Sam
it
and
right
I
away
heard that
when we
knife
saw
go in.
that.
Oh, I'm a little slow.
Yeah.
Up in my head, so it took me a second.
But we all just jumped up and celebrated because it was the end of a
screw-
dictator.
Yeah,
End of a dictatorship.
I will say, I was very sad too. I was reflecting
Yeah.
on my car ride home as I played. I forget the name of the song, but it's the one when Jorah leaves Daenerys in season 4. He's sent away, and I just thought to myself, like I loved Daenerys, like Khaleesi,
No, yeah,
Khaleesi.
I mean-
like when she like was going on freeing the Unsullied, like the whole Misha thing. I was on
all
board.
four. All
And
four.
it was I was just like, damn, it's sad like how it ended up with her. Like I was a big fan.
Yeah,
and, like, I was just very sad.
it's not like that I didn't like the character. It's just some for plot points were repetitive and boring at points, and I just didn't like have most interest in her out of all the characters. But like you were saying, I can see where people are mad if they had been so dedicated to Daenerys.
If that was her favorite,
and
favorite
that
character.
she turns like that, and in that
Yeah.
with lack of development like that. But I mean, that's the story
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And if that's what I believe
it's
George is going to
canon.
do,
It is.
you know.
Yeah.
But then moving on, so then Drogon comes, and
That was
we all
cool.
think in the moment that like possibility that he found out that John did the doing,
Yeah.
and he was gonna light him up, but
Yeah.
actually they trick you, and he starts burning the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
He starts burning the madness behind everything. He broke the wheel.
Which, yeah, and honestly, that was a very emotional scene. I thought that was great.
Yeah,
when he's
that was
burning
good.
the throne, and
She
but
broke
basically,
the wheel, but it cost her her life.
yeah, she dies, but essentially, she did what she was supposed to do.
And then he takes Daenerys. What do you think, Vostothrak out east?
Yeah, I
or-
thought they were gonna show us, but that's happened, and Daenerys is out about 40 minutes into it.
That was a sad scene.
It was.
No, yeah, especially with
Because
the
that's her
dragon
child.
trying to wake her
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
was
that's
sad.
her child.
And I was
right there.
wondering like how Drogon was gonna die, but I guess he didn't. You know, he
No,
just went out.
I kind of like
east.
that.
There's still a dragon
Yeah.
left in Westeros, or not in Westeros, but like
Somewhere.
in the realm.
Then we get John's in prison. They don't show up, but he gets in prison.
Dude, that scene when they
Man.
cut to him and like everything was growing, I was like, damn.
Well, they flash forward a few weeks at least.
And they go to I think the next
Yeah.
is a council.
which was
yeah, then
weird.
they go to Tyrion being in front of the council.
Yeah.
Council of Elrond.
Yeah.
And it goes back to, like, once again, like, in the older seasons of Thrones, Jon would be in prison for like 3 to 4 episodes, and you develop this whole thing. People would be coming in,
Davos,
getting ready, talking
Davos,
about who we gonna
Ned,
elect as king.
Tyrion.
That's the stuff you like about the show. Is like, oh, who's gonna be king? Who's the best option?
Yeah.
And it happens.
That's very.
you know
That's a
what
great point. I like Davos, Ned, Tyrion.
Yeah.
Like when they all have been imprisoned before, spent 3-4 episodes.
It was very cool. You know, you had everybody at the council, like Lord of the Rings, just discussing it. But I think we all, you know, kind of wish we got a little more set up there. Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I think, like you guys were saying, like it needed to be developed over a couple episodes just to, you know, fill in those plot points to how to get from like this point, like let's say Jon in the dungeon, to that point right there.
They could have thrown some swerves in there, like, oh, like maybe they're considering like Yara or something, and like then they like totally flip, you know, like stuff like that.
Flip the switch.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't believe how much, how many lines and screen time Edmure got.
Edmure,
Oh, yeah.
man.
That was-
he got shut down
Yeah,
too.
he can't win.
The bitch,
Yeah, it
dude,
was
Stark's
great.
always like
Oh
making
my
them.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sansa was ruthless on this council.
Can
you
Rob,
believe it?
can
Yeah.
Rob get a shout out once
Like-
in a while? Everyone always talks about Ned, dude. Like,
Yeah.
can someone mention Rob? Like, they had a brother too.
So basically, Tyrion comes out. He's still in prison, but he speaks his mind. Sam brings up possibly like a democracy.
Sam, wow.
They're not for that. But Tyrion's basically like, guys, you got to pick someone here.
Yeah.
And
He
a
suggests.
great speech once again by Dinklage.
Bran
and
the Broken.
Bran the Broken. And immediately I'm like,
No.
this is a like twist, and they're like, this isn't actually gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna deny it.
Yeah.
And then it kept going. I'm like, are they really gonna do this?
And they all
then,
said I.
and then I was like, you know what?
Okay.
It makes sense.
I'm kind of with it.
I am.
It makes sense because like he's not gonna like take sides, and like
Yeah.
he's not gonna have.
You can't have kids.
He can't have kids, so like they'll do the same thing and elect the best person rather than like
Exactly.
an insane like son like Joffrey.
It's a good throwback too to season one or two when he's ruling in Winterfell, and
Yeah.
he actually does a good job.
No, one thing I love about this episode, I feel like everything came full circle.
Yeah.
Like, even in the show, Bran is like the first character. Like after episode 1, I'm like, okay, this kid Bran is like, him and Ned are like the two mains.
Yeah.
And like he, you know, full circle, Bran ends up being king. It's the first chapter in the books too.
He says the lines or whatever, like, why do you think I sailed all the way over here or whatever?
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, listen, I don't hate Bran. I've kind of liked Bran. I know some people don't like him, and I get like that he hasn't been in this season enough, or like the last 2 seasons enough for this to like pay off. I think for like a general audience, but for me, I liked it. I like that's how his arc goes, and I feel like that will be what
Yeah, I
happens.
think people are just mad because like Jon's not the fucking king. But
Which
it
people
doesn't
would have
make
been
sense.
complaining about if he was the
Yeah.
king. Like, oh, Jon's the king.
Put
Of
it this
course
way:
he is.
whoever was the king, people were gonna complain about.
Yeah.
that's true.
And I think if you like honestly, if you go through them, people would like find something wrong. Like there's no like perfect answer, but I think Bran. I think it
no
makes
one
sense.
who predicted Bran was going to be
No, I
king.
think
no
and
one
I,
predicted
and I think
that.
it makes sense.
The odds were not in his favor.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
And he makes Tyrion the hand, which is perfect position for Tyrion. That's
Yeah,
great,
that was
so-
a
It's
funny
it's a perfect punishment.
Full
'cause
circle again,
Grey Worm
Tyrion.
wanted him to be punished, and Bran thought of the best possibility, which was being the hand of the king. Because
Yeah.
Tyrion didn't want that. He thought, like, he was sick and tired of all that he did because he kept doing people wrong.
Sansa, obviously loves her brother, but says, North has sacrificed a lot, and she wants to remain independent. Bran's like, oh yeah. So now we got basically
Six
we had
kingdoms.
Robb, we had Jon, and now we got Sansa as the queen in the North.
I don't like Sansa. I never have, and I still don't.
Okay.
She was a little
her.
tough on Danny, but I guess she's got eyes that just read through people. Mm-hmm. So
But
she could tell.
I think we agree she's the rightful person for that
Yeah,
job.
no, it's
Yeah,
fine,
no.
whatever.
So Bran's king.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Now Tyrion goes to Jon. And basically, all right, this is the one thing in the episode which is kind of like, a little shaky with the Grey Worm thing. It's like, why? So Grey Worm's like, all right, Jon can't be free. You got to do something. And Bran's like, all right, we'll send him to the Night's Watch. And the only people have been having issues with this, and I think it's warranted, is why would Grey Worm just leaves anyway? Like, they could have just let Jon free. Which I think, like, if this happens in the book, it'll happen differently and make more sense, but yeah.
Or what are they just? I mean, they want to establish like a better world. Are they just, are they just gonna lie?
Yeah,
Are they just
and
gonna
Jon
lie?
wouldn't do that. Jon's
No, he's
gonna
an
take the
honorable
order
guy.
too.
He knew when he
Yeah.
killed Daenerys, the love of his life. Like he knew like that was it, and he knew like he'd obviously be punished for that. And they're not gonna lie. They're trying to establish like a better world. I'm sort of shocked Grey Worm made it out of the show.
Yeah.
I really
I
thought
don't
he
really
would
like
die.
him anymore now.
Especially during the Battle of Winterfell.
I loved him early on, but now he's kind of like.
Yeah, I feel like he
Butthurt.
got off a little easy.
I like Jon going back to the
Yeah,
Night's Watch,
the end
his
of the
ending.
episode, basically, I don't know how many minutes it was, but it was basically like a epilogue, just music, not a lot of dialogue.
I thought it was great, dude. That was my favorite. I think my favorite
Yeah.
part of the
Well,
episode.
Matt actually cried during this scene.
Oh.
It was
Yeah,
Brianna
Jamie.
Tarth writing in Jamie's story in the book.
Which for me, it hit hard too, because in the books, that's a big deal to
Yeah.
Jamie. He's always talking. There's a whole chapter about him
Yeah,
worrying
Barristan,
about like
Arthur
the
Dane.
pages in the book and how his is so short.
Yeah, because all the great
Yeah.
Kingsguard.
And that was great.
Nice.
You know, although we weren't fans of how he went out, I
Yeah.
felt like that was
his moment.
really cool. The Starks say goodbye to each other.
That was
Arya,
so sad.
Arya
Arya and Jon.
reveals that she is going west, which I totally forgot. I saw it on Twitter. You know when she's talking.
Yeah, she said that.
Lady
Yeah,
Crane.
yeah,
Lady
Lady
Crane.
Crane,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna bring that up.
Oh, I remembered
Yeah.
it. Like that made sense to me during the episode. I'm like, mentioned
Yeah.
that before, and I think it makes sense for her because she's not going to be a lady, as some pal. I was waiting for her to say, "Oh, I'm going to Storm's End." That would have been great.
Yeah.
But no, like she wants to explore. She wants to do her thing, and like, I didn't know if she would make it, but I'm happy she did because I love her, and she's going to go explore, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It makes sense for her character.
Give me the Arya spin-off series. I hope that's one of the 4
That'd be
in
crazy.
development. That'd be cool.
The council, like the
We're
one
talking-
with Tyrion.
Oh yeah, no, that's the other scene that I felt very season 1 through 4 for like just them
Yeah.
back at the council and
Yeah.
those council meetings.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's just unbelievable.
Well, Tyrion's fixing the chairs, like he did that before at the
Yeah.
previous meetings.
Yeah, it was Tywin and
Yeah.
Cersei. They moved the chairs. No, that was great. See where everyone at. Davos, Master of Ships, Braun,
Yeah,
Master
Braun and
Coin.
Davos going
Yeah.
back
Lord
and
of
forth.
fucking Highgarden.
Yeah.
that was
Master
great.
Coin too.
Yep.
Sam Wells, a Meister.
Yep.
Grand Meister, yeah.
And
No.
Brienne, Kingsguard.
A lot of and Podrick too.
Podrick's in
Yeah.
there,
Audie.
great guy.
Yeah.
I
A
fucking
lot of
love
people are complaining like the ending just seemed like it was setting up like spin-offs,
Pod. I don't know.
which
That's where those.
the whole
characters are.
point is that it's a living, breathing world that
Yeah.
goes on.
Life doesn't stop
There's not
after
going to
Game
be a
of Thrones.
definitive ending.
Yeah.
If you thought there was going to be a definitive ending, there's not. There's not
Yeah,
a definitive
no,
ending.
life
can't
goes.
be.
Life goes
Yeah.
on. Life goes on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a world that George R. R. Martin
It's a song.
created.
It's a song of ice
There's
and fire.
1,000 years before.
Like
There's
in the
going to be
book
1,000
that
years
they
after.
brought, yeah.
It's a story of a song of ice and fire, not the entire thing
The,
of
the
Westeros.
book with
Yeah.
Sam, another
was
Lord of the
cool.
Rings reference, a few Lord of the Rings references
Yep.
here.
And then
It felt-
also,
This whole finale felt very Lord of the Rings: Return
Yeah.
of the King,
Also-
which I love.
yeah. We get that cool like back and forth parallels between Sansa, Arya,
That
and
was really
Jon.
cool. No words, just them walking with the
And
music.
then it ends with Jon. He reunites with
Tormund.
Tormund and Ghost.
We
Ghost!
finally got the moment with Ghost. That was awesome. He pet him.
Yeah.
He embraced him. John's back at the Night's Watch.
I loved it.
Tormund.
People are
I
mad,
loved
like,
it. I loved
he
Jon's
ended
great.
where he began. Like,
Can I say?
What?
I think that was true for a lot of the characters. Everything came full circle. They ended where they began. Tyrion
That's
ended
not a bad
as
thing,
Hannah the
like-
King. Jon ended in the Night's Watch. Arya ended like exploring. Jamie ended with Cersei.
yeah.
Sansa is the Queen of the
Yeah,
North.
like, look
and
at-
actually,
Full circle, dude.
Yeah.
Full circle.
But let's
The
talk
wall,
about
dude.
the ending for Jon. Because
Yeah.
it can be interpreted a few ways. Now, personally, you have that shot. You have a ton of season 1 shots, like the opening scene.
Yeah,
looks exactly
literally
the same.
full
Yeah,
circle.
when they
Yeah.
dropped the gate, that was the exact.
But
so many parallels.
When the
It's
gate
great.
drops and Jon looks back, I got the vibe that like he's leaving.
going. Yeah,
he
he's gone.
took the wildlings with Tormund and Ghost, and they're going north.
Yeah, but I got the
don't know.
vibe that like that's like him saying goodbye to the wall, like that I feel like
He's
'cause
gonna
what's
live
the, you don't need to stay at Castle
The true
Black. What are
north.
you defending from?
nothing.
They can do it. I feel like he's gonna cultivate the north with the wildlings. I
That's a
feel
good
like
point.
he's the king beyond the wall now.
I
That's
feel-
what I like.
what if-
Mance Raider.
yeah,
I kind of got the feel he's a king beyond the wall, and he's the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
yeah, the
he's
same.
kinda- he's
it's
kinda
all
both.
together now.
He's bringing
Yeah.
people together.
It's like a new group of people instead of a like system.
It's sad, but like it's it's who he is.
Love
and
is the
that's-
death of
That's
duty.
why I love him. That's why I love Jamie too. 'cause
Yeah,
he was,
listen,
he was
I'm
flawed.
not. Do I think Jon got the shaft this season? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He had a good episode.
He had a
this
good
episode.
last episode though, and
Yeah.
I like where he ends.
This season he did get the shaft.
Now listen, I mean,
Already a good season though. I like it. Everyone's saying, "Oh, is this the ending?" I'm like almost. This is the ending in the books. That George said like this. I don't know how vague he was. I'm sure. I'm like John ends up at the Night's Watch. You know, he kills Daenerys.
Bran will be king.
He
I
probably
think that's all.
They probably get there completely different. Probably some things are different, but like the big things
Yeah.
are the same. And you know, if this is George's vision, I love where they ended up.
And we can harp all day long
How they
about
got
how
there.
there should have been
Yeah.
more, but what we got, what we got, and this is it.
At the end of the day, it's one of the greatest shows of all time.
Yeah.
It's my favorite show of all time. I think it's the best show of all time of what I've seen. I loved it. Seasons 1 through 4, I don't think there's anything better. I think
Yeah,
masterpiece.
And the 5's great.
And the 5's great. Season 6 is great.
Yeah.
Even 7 and 8,
Seven?
like flawed
They have
but
their
still
ups, They have
good.
their high points, and you know,
I love it. A Song of Ice and
it's
Fire.
so hard
is
to
beautiful.
please everyone. It's so hard to finish a series
Such
like
an
this.
amazing world. So many great characters.
Yeah,
That's why I feel like
Such a world phenomenon.
You know-
it's amazing.
it's all about how you finish. And I felt like this was for an up and down season.
Yeah.
I felt like this was a good
Strong finish.
episode.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's getting low scores on IMDb just because people are
Fuck
hating
'em.
on the entire season.
'em.
But I take it, I take it as a whole, and I love the way they finish.
People want to hate it before it comes out. You gotta go.
When I look
you know?
back on the Game of Thrones, I'm gonna remember it as the greatest show I've ever watched. I've never had more fun watching a show. We still have the books. Can't wait to read those. Like that'll be an all-time high. Prequel series. I don't think anything will ever match this for me, but like those are still nice things to keep you in the universe.
Yeah. Guys, this is it. It's the end. The Final Thrones review.
can't
But
believe
guys, guess what? You can go back and watch the season's over it.
Yeah. This is gonna be one of those shows when 20 years, like kids like are coming up through high school,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be like, I just watched Game of Thrones. Like you have to go. It's gonna live
kinda
on.
It's like a friend.
These shows
you know what
come
I mean?
once in,
Like-
every like a decade. I feel like
Like-
you had The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones.
These shows will live on
Yeah.
far beyond when they ended, and that's the true mark of a great show.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's it.
I got nothing else to say. You know, it's been a hell of a ride.
It's been a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me for these final
Oh.
2 episodes.
Sam, I mean,
Yeah.
of course.
All right.
And now our watch has ended.
Marjay Carreri, you're watching Disney Channel.
Dun, 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 dun.